Guys, is this thing on?
Oh, shut up. Whatever.
Presenting the Dead Eye Overshare podcast.
Just say it.
What is up, besties? It is your host, Zoe, and I am back with another fucking episode on the Dead Eye Overshare podcast today. So happy to be talking to you guys. If you guys are active on my Instagram and my TikTok, you would have seen that I wanted to post last week, but we didn't pay the Wi-Fi bill, and we didn't have the money to pay the Wi-Fi bill, so the Wi-Fi was off. And I was trying to use my hotspot, but my hotspot deadass was not cooperating. Like, it had no energy left, because I had sucked it all up the nights before, okay? But we're here this week, so I'm just going to do the episode this week that I was going to do last week, and that is free will. But before we get into that, I am going to let y'all know this now. I promise y'all, I got a month in me. I got a month left. A month left to be working retail because I cannot continue. I can't. This podcast will be my full-time job, and I'm speaking it into existence now. I am going to lose my marbles, okay? Every single one of them, every marble will be lost. Can't find her. I think they're already all lost. But I just wanted that to be known. I just wanted that to be known. Something got to lock in within the next couple weeks, okay? But yeah, life has been, dare I say, not a shit show, but kind of all over the place, if that makes sense. But in a good way, but in a concern. I don't know what to say. There's a lot going on, bro. There's a lot fucking going on. All right. But yeah, let's talk free will. I don't really know what brought me to this topic. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was very, before I got so rudely interrupted by the orange menace of a cat that I have, I think I was talking about how I got to free will. I don't really know how I did. I was literally just vibing, and I just started thinking about shit, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. And it's crazy that I have the direction of my whole life. But it also brought me back to a conversation I had in one of my classes sophomore year. I don't know. It was a MAT class. It was like a health and something. It was a health and meditation class, I believe. Mind you, we meditated like twice, but it was a cool ass class, bitch. Like, we were just vibing, and we read this like Russian book. It probably wasn't Russian. I think it was Russian though. Solvinsky? He was like a murderer. He was a murderer. But like, no, yeah, he was. He was like plotting for years, and I think it was low key. It kind of ate. Like, it kind of ate. But it really got us talking about free will and everything that went in it. Hold on, let me look up the book for you guys, because I really need to know now. Russian book where he plots murders, a murder in a Solvinsky. Is that the author? I feel like that's the author. Raskolnikov. What's that? Don't fucking bitch. Inspired by a character in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, plans and commits murder in Crime and Punishment. Oh, it's Crime and Punishment. Oh. Is the book Crime and Punishment? Oh, it is Crime and Punishment, y'all. It is. Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. It is actually Crime and Punishment. But yeah, no, we read that. And that, low-key, I really didn't expect myself to like it, but I kind of did. I'm gonna be honest. I really did like it. But I think we started talking about that because he had so much power over his decisions he was going to make and whether he should be making them or not. And he also, I think he was religious, if I remember correctly. It was kind of a long time ago. And you know how that was tied in and a whole bunch of different shit. But what really got me questioning, because I started contradicting myself, because I'm a very spiritual person, right? But there's a part of me, I believe I'm here for a reason, right? I'm destined. Like, my life is already pre-planned. Like, before I got to this earth, I think there was like things I was destined I was going to do. Like, I had this whole life plan, right? But then on the other half, free will. I am ultimately the creator of my own path. Right? Like, I was just confused as fuck. If we believe in a God and spirit and a divine path, did we really get free will? Do we really have free will? Like, did God give us this ability to choose? Or are we just walking a path that was always meant for us? And the reason I think about that is because, like, when you think about people who maybe are suffering from addiction, like drug addiction, and are homeless and, shit like that, were they destined for this path? Because I feel like that's a shitty thing. Or were their choices ultimately how they got here today, and now they can never live their full path? And I hope that makes sense, but that's where I get confused in this, because I'm just like, I know for me in my head, I think ultimately I can make a right or wrong decision and I might delay a process of what I'm getting, right? But I can't miss it. I cannot miss what's for me, but I can delay it, if that makes sense. But then there's people out there, so I'm like, is this life really for them? Because when you think about all the tragedies in the world, you're just kind of like, damn, people are like meant to have this. And it's just like, oh, and some people like to use that saying, oh, like God has a plan. God, this was meant for God. Like I've seen people say, like after someone's child's passed, this was God's plan. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. In my head, I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because that's where I get conflicted. Because I'm just like, was this meant for us? Or did like mistakes happen and we choose our own fate? And shit happens. But it also ties in with astrology, because like I'll look at my astrology chart, my birth time, the alignments, and I can see my purpose. Like I've had people read my chart in depth, whether it be career wise. Like I recently had a Saturn return reading from this year. Her name is the Muse Michelle or something like that. She's really fucking good, bitch. She did my shit in, and let's just say it will be a prosperous year for this fucking podcast. Okay, blessings on blessings. But like you can see, like when you're looking at people's birth charts, you can see like some aspects they're going to deal with in life. You can see what career is going to be for them, what's best fits for them, how many kids they're going to have. So that's where I also get conflicted, because I'm just like, so it was planned out, it was meant for us, right? I see that some things were always meant to happen, and at the same time I feel like I have choices. I feel the weight of those choices every fucking day and what I'm about to do. So here's a question I keep circling myself back to. Am I walking in my purpose because I chose it, or because I'm always going to end up here no matter how I got here, right? Like, is it ultimately up to me? Like, I decide my own fate, whether I say yes or no. And then they also bring in the argument of like multi dimensions and shit like that. Okay, so I said no in this dimension and said yes in the other dimension, and I died. Or I became a millionaire in this life and not in that life. There's like that shit, and science really proved that. So now I'm all the more of a clusterfuck in my brain, because I'm just like, what the fuck? Hello? And if I take a detour, if I mess up, was that part of the plan too? Was I supposed to mess up? But what if both can be true? And if they can, how? Because like I have some things, sorry queens, but I have some things like, well, I'll be figuring it out with God or my ancestors. And there's some things that I've had delayed because I wasn't ready for that growth yet, or it wasn't that time. But it's just like, was that delay process, is that a word? Was that always a part of my timing? Was that always supposed to happen? And when I'm looking at other people's lives, I also think this: are we meant to be in this cycle of life? But what if free will isn't the power to avoid the path, but the power to choose how you move through it? See, TCT? Does that make sense? Like, I hope that makes sense, because I'm confused, you're confused, we're all confused. And I don't know, some of us are meant to fall, fail, whatever you want to call it. And in my head, that's fucked up. And it's like, maybe in a past life, we're like, oh, we need to learn this in this life. We need to learn, okay, so if we are offered this hard drug, are we going to take it or are we not? And this ultimately determines our whole life. And like just shit like that. And I don't know. That leaves me confused, because I just feel like that's unfair. Maybe it's not unfair, but in my head, it's a little unfair. But yeah, and free will might not mean that we can rewrite our destination, but it does mean we can like take over our journey and choose how we want to go about it. And maybe the whole process of this is the whole point. The learning, the bad things, the good things. Maybe that is the whole point, right? But I think there's a danger side of it. I think there's a spiritual side of it, the unexplored side. I think there's so many different fucking sides of this. Because free will ultimately, like when getting down to the nitty-gritty, it's the ability to choose. But spiritually, it's layered. Like if you really want to dive deep into free will, it really is layered. Because I think I've talked about this before. I feel like it's insane to me that as humans, and I would never do this. This is literally just an analogy, okay? But like if I was driving in the car, right? And I see an intersection. I'm at a red light. I can go at this red light and there would be like a 5-car pileup just because my free will and I decided to go. That is so fucking dangerous. Who the fuck put that in charge? Because that is insanely dangerous, especially the fact that so many people act on their free will in such a negative way. People act on their free will to do heinous fucking things. So it's just like, is that part of this beautiful thing called life? This beautiful learning process? And some would say we wrote our whole life for somebody else, like a maker did before us. But some say we make it all up, all right? But sometimes overall, like I said before, I think it is both. I think we're born with a purpose, but it's kind of like a pen and a paper, right? We're given like a prompt and we can follow it. We can go off track. We can rewrite it. We can add different shit. That's my like scenario for it. Like that's what I would compare it to. Okay? Like we can edit our story like a fucking editor. Or just rewrite it completely or go completely fucking off topic and just go left. But that's scary as fuck. But also, I feel like what people don't understand is with free will comes accountability, and a lot of people don't know how to take accountability. No one else is making these decisions but us. And that type of freedom can be terrifying. And I feel like a lot of people deal with this when they go off to college. I know a lot of people say this when they go off to college because that's when you start living on your own, making your own decisions. You don't have a parent there or something, or like rules and regulations to keep you in a certain spot your whole life. And I feel like so many things, it can get real dangerous that way. Because free will can be used to deny truth, to avoid healing. A lot of people choose comfort over growth, which I talk about in a couple other episodes, to choose violence. But some choose it with love. And there's so many fucking different things. And that is terrifying, in my opinion. Like that, genuinely, it would be one thing that would keep me up all night. Because I'm just like, so many crazy fucking things that happen just because we can. Because I can. And there's a beauty in saying, like, I can. Like, if you're in an argument with somebody or you're doing yada, 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 and just being like, well, I can do that because I want to. Because I want to. Now it's like, should I be doing that just because I want to? Or, yeah, I can do that because I want to. Like, it's such a freeing thing. But it's also just such a scary thing. Because free will in the wrong hands becomes manipulation. All right. I'm just doing me becomes a cover up for avoidance. And we have to ask, are we choosing love? Are we choosing fear? Are we choosing avoidance? Are we choosing manipulation? Like, what the fuck are we choosing in this path of free will? All right. And then the spiritual side of it. I think the spiritual side of it is even more confusing, but even more beautiful, in my opinion. And it's kind of like God, the universe, your ancestors, or whoever you believe in saying, I trust you even when you mess up. Even when you're exploring who you want to be and your mistakes and, learning for yourself. I trust you and I will ultimately guide you back to where you need to be. Trust in me and we'll get there. Right? Free will lets us co-create with the divine, dare I say. And that's my opinion. Because some people, like, if we are using the religion tactic, some people say, oh, yeah, God gave us free will, right? And this is why this and this happened. And, because when talking about it, we get into that dark spot. And if you don't really want to listen to this, you don't have to. But we get into that dark spot, like when we bring up slavery and stuff like that. And you're like, why would God let us go through that? And then some people rebuttal it with an argument like, oh, but we have free will. That's where I be getting confused because I'm just like, what? What? Because what? But ultimately, getting off that topic for a minute, that was just like an example of a little confusion or like a rebuttal you could hear. But it's just like, were we supposed to go through this path? Because I think there's so many horrendous things that happen in this world. No, my mind does not want to sit here and believe, before I came to Earth, I told myself I was going to go through this, right? No, but that's because of somebody else's free will. I had to go through that. And it's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? And this episode might sound like mumbo jumbo, okay? But don't most of them. Like, are we not used to this? We're literally just here to just vent and yap, okay? But I think free will is how we align with our higher self. Not perfectly, but intentionally. How we act with the decisions we make. I'm choosing to get up and go to work today, or I'm choosing not to go to work today, and the benefits and consequences of that. And when I started listening to my own intuition more, when I stopped like using my choices based on what my mom wanted me to do, what the world wanted me to do, what school wanted me to do, that's when I feel like I started choosing and using my free will for the good, and using my free will more intentionally in what I wanted to do, and more so on that life journey that was planned for me, if that makes sense. Um, and that's when my life started to change. It was like I was taking my own fucking wheel, okay? But the unexplored side of free will. Where do we get with that? Because we don't talk enough about the cost of it, all right? Because every time we choose something, we unchoose something else. Like a lot of people, like we could, like some would say, "Oh, I missed out on my soulmate because I picked somebody else." But it's like if this life is meant for us and we're supposed to be with them, did I really miss out on my soulmate? Like, will I meet him at a later time? I'm confused. The crowd's confused. We're all confused. But free will is hard. Like I'm confused. These damn dogs is barking again. What is happening? One day when I'm rich, I'm gonna get my own studio and we're gonna record in the fucking studio, okay? No distractions, no outside voices. But like I was saying, the cost of free will. Free will is hard because thinking about it, you ask us, who do we want to be? What pain am I willing to face to be free? What pain am I willing to face to be alive? What pain am I willing to face, period? What do I want to do with my life? So many different questions I think that are so introspective, and it makes us really just sit here and look at ourselves and think, what the fuck is happening? What do I want to do? What is going on? Yada yada yada. So many different questions, and it's just like there's always something else. There's always a new answer we could take. We could always change our mind, and yada yada yada. Some people pretend they don't have a choice because if you don't choose, you can't be held responsible. Okay. You cannot be held responsible if you don't choose. And that is a lie. That is a lie. You are responsible because that ultimately no choice is a choice. Ultimately, no choice is a choice. But healing doesn't happen by accident because you have to choose it again and again and again and again, which I always say, which I always vocalize. It is an ongoing process. And when I decided to heal personally, I realized I couldn't wait for this God or wait for the universe or wait for somebody else to do it for me. I had to do it within myself. I am my own God, if that makes sense. Like, I have to ultimately write my life. Nobody else is going to write it for me. Okay? And it's hard to say, like, I chose this. I chose to face what hurt me. I chose to become someone new. I chose to do yada, yada, yada. And I keep saying yada, yada, yada. And chose to break all these generational curses. I chose that. But I think that's one of the best forms of free will. It's not an escape per se or like a scapegoat. I think it's the power to transform and to grow. Like, what the fuck? Like, we could be using it for so much good, and and I think we get we get so off track because so many people in this fucking world use it for bad. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. But so many people in this fucking world use it for bad. So we're kind of just like, whoa, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck. But I feel like use it for good within yourself. Use it for good in yourself, and you'll start to see some crazy ass transformation. And then herbs. I'm going to bring my herbs into it at the end. And I want to start including that in every episode. But herbs that bring clarity and intention when it comes to free will. And if you're struggling to choose or make decisions for your life that are big, slow down, breathe. And I feel like some herbs that really help me slow down and breathe are blue lotus, a blue lotus tea. Love it. A blue lotus and mugwort tea mixed together. Okay. Bay leaf. But that's for more of so like a releasing ritual, right? What you want to release on a bay leaf, burn it. Burn that off into the universe, okay? I love some good chamomile. That gets me very calm. Some lemon balm also gets me really calm. But I love a good herb that calms me down, allows me to really, like I said, be introspective and think about what I want to do and my overall consumption of life and how my actions are because of that. But yeah, my closing thought. Here where I am. Where I'm closing my brain and trying to brain dump. Where am I at? Because overall, I'm still indifferent. To be honest, I'm still really indifferent when it comes to free will. I don't really know what it's about because it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. And so many of us just aren't present, right? You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to take the next step, which is hard because our brain does not like new. It likes something that's comfortable, something that's normal. That means we're going to have to move because they can't cut out the roof while we're living in here.
That's why I told you. I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I was just trying to.
Thank you for telling me. You hear me? Thank you for telling me. Oh my god, y'all. I'm not about to cry right now. Like, I'm not about to cry. And I want to. And you know what? I feel like I'm going to keep that part in. I feel like I want to keep that part in. Because, like I said, oh, fucking always something. And this booty ass fucking apartment. Like, this is the second time we've had a mold issue. I just like, it's tiring. It's annoying as fuck. Like, I really don't want to pack all our shit. We just settled down low key. Like, ugh. But now, like, we have a foundation issue in the living room because they're lazy as fuck and they don't do fucking shit. Sorry. But he literally came like a month ago and said, oh yeah, I'll just paint over the mold. What? Excuse me? Because I'll call the city right now. But no, apparently they have to cut out our ceiling. Which is just like, in my head, there's no possible way you can do that while we're still living in the house. There's no possible way you can do that while we're still living in the house. So now we gotta relocate. It's okay. I have a house. I'm blessed. All right, well, closing thought. Well, until next time, I'll see you guys next week. I love you guys so much. Pray for me. Pray for my life, what's happening. But I am so blessed to have, honestly, like I said, things could be worse. Things could be better, but things could be worse. And I'm blessed where I'm at. So yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys took something from this episode. I hope you guys really started to reflect on how you use your free will, whether it's in a good way, a bad way, or a childish way. Start choosing you. Start choosing what you really want to do and be intentional with your life and what you're doing. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye.